from the trap of suffering to the fullness of life. For centuries, we have been told to bow our heads in gratitude to a creator. But if we look at the structural blueprints of life, we find a disturbing architecture. We are born into a mindless genes game, designed not for happiness, but for survival at any cost. We are merely survival vehicles, temporary shells built to carry genetic code across a battlefield of unimaginable, unearned suffering. For one winner to emerge in the evolutionary race, thousands of others must be condemned to perish in brutal, agonizing failure. This is not a divine plan. It is a slaughterhouse of billions of losers to make room for a handful of winners. I cannot accept a God who imposes such a dreadfully inherent machinery of suffering upon his creatures. God who authored this game where death is the only way to ensure succession is not a good God. He is a cosmic engineer of pain. The traditional religious framework elevates the act of sacrifice above the act of creation. We are told to give everything to the poor to secure our own salvation, yet we rarely stop to ask if this brand of charity serves the receiver or merely the ego of the giver. As we have seen throughout history, charity without development is a cycle of humiliation. It provides a meal, but denies a future. True dignity is found not in the hand held out for alms, but in the hand that holds a tool, in the creation of jobs that allow a human being to stand upright, independent, and free. Those who point to another world often do so only to depreciate this one. They are after-worldly thinkers who poison the well of the present because they cannot find water in it. For centuries, humanity has been captive to a philosophy of postponement. We have been told that this life is a mere shadow, a dusty waiting room where the currency of admission to a better world is our own misery. This apocalyptic thinking demands that we view our existence not as a gift to be cultivated, but as a sacrifice to be endured. But what if this life and the world we share with our children is not a test, but everything? The proof of our true values lies in our achievements. We invented painkillers because we recognized that suffering is not holy. It is a problem to be solved. The same with the scourge of smallpox or the agony of surgery. We solve these problems not through prayers of those who do not take care of this world as they try to earn their tickets to heaven, but through prioritization of rational thinking, hard work, and creativity over the dogma of holy books. We must embrace what Albert Camus called the courage of the present. If we stop looking for the exit sign of the apocalypse, we are forced to look at each other. If there is no ticket to heaven to be earned, then our responsibility is to the here and now. Our duty is to use our brief flash of consciousness to reduce the suffering of our fellow survivors and to build a world that appreciates and justifies the struggle of those who came before us. Let us stop sacrificing the life we have for the life we are promised. Let us act, build, and heal, not for points in a divine ledger, but for the simple, profound reason that this world is everything we have and not a wrecked prologue to a glorious afterlife. We must realize why religion persists. It provides a desperate meaning to the meaningless. For those trapped in poverty, without the escape of fulfilling work, science, or art, religion is the only hope. It tells the man with no perspective that his agony is holy. It convinces the suffering that their pain is a ticket to a better sequel. But look at the world today. As extreme poverty, hunger, and physical pain are alleviated by human progress and affluent societies, religion loses its ground. Why? Because when you have a good life here, you have less need to gamble on a life after. The veil of tears is a marketing tactic for a product that doesn't exist. I reject a creed that tells me to ignore the masterpiece I am living in favor of a sequel that hasn't been written. We've been sold a binary lie, that you must either be a martyr of duty, bowed under the weight of a joyless burden, or a hedonist of the shallows. The ascetic looks at the successful man and demands guilt for his comforts. The moralist looks at the joyful woman and demands an apology for her laughter. I am here to burn that contract. I advocate for a life lived at full throttle, a life where we work with ferocity and play with abandon, without a single ounce of shame. Life which is full of fights with every fiber of our being to overcome the suffering of this world, and then, and only then, the dolce vita with unbridled intensity. A weak, deprived, and miserable man can help no one. Meaning is forged in the struggle, in the grueling work, and the high-stakes risk. We embrace the grind, not because we worship pain, but because it gives us a spine. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the impediment to action advances action. We use the obstacles of this brutal world to forge ourselves into something unbreakable. But what is the point of forging a blade if you never use it to cut the fruit? To work like a slave, but refuse to live like a king is not virtue. It is a psychological disorder. When we condemn the pleasures of the flesh, the exquisite meal, the thrill of the win, we insult the very life we bled to build. A luxury is not frivolous. It is the essential recalibration of a warrior's mind. This ascetic poison does its worst damage at the dinner table. It manifests in the partner who stifles their spouse's fire, viewing ambition as vanity. They are sabotaging the engine of their family's survival. A man's drive is a fire fueled by the joy of achievement. When you deprive a lion of his hunt, you make him a ghost. We see the horrifying spectacle of the vulnerable being told to carry their cross while enduring abuse. This is not virtue, it is cruelty. It values a theological checkbox over the sanctity of a soul. I reject this. No cross was ever meant to be a leash for an abuser. The life-first mentality is your competitive edge. The person who fears no pleasure is the person who fears no risk. The man who allows himself the dolce vita returns to the arena with a ferocity the brittle ascetic cannot match. He isn't working to escape sin. He is working to expand his empire of joy. The sweet life is the hard-earned spoils of the person who looked risk in the eye and refused to blink. If you have spent your year in the trenches, you do not ask for a rest. You command it. Do not let the Puritans make you small. Do not let the prologue mentality rob you of your only guaranteed reality. Work as hard as you can to fight over things important for you. But when the battle is over, turn your back on the critics, sit at the head of the table, and feast. We are here to burn brightly at both ends, live fully, fight fiercely, feast unapologetically, and never, ever apologize for the fire.
They see the glory, but they don't see the grind. The grind is everything, and the reward is earned.
Do not even think about it. You must bear your cross.